Hey, this is Lorena, and I wanted to do a video for you on how to do a mitered border. Now, I wanted to do a mitered border on my table runner, but I also thought that you could do this on any quilt top that you wanted to. So I'll see you in the mitered border making. All right, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so one of the first decisions you need to make is what size or width is your border going to be. This is really important because this kind of works in cohesion to adding it to the width of your quilt top or table runner, like my case, or the length of your table runner or quilt top. Okay. So in this clip, I'm sharing with you how I measured the width of my table runner. My table runner was 17 inches, but my border itself was 5 inches wide. So what you need to do is add 5 inches to the right side of the width of your border and to the left side. So I ended up having to add 10 inches to my border for my width. Now I also went and I measured the length of my table runner. My table runner was 69 inches. And then I added 5 inches to the top of it and 5 inches to the length of it, which means I added 10 inches to that border. So I ended up having to make a border for the right side of my table runner, which was 79 inches long. I also had to do, of course, the right side and the left side. That's what I cut my borders out to be. All right, now we're going to start putting the border onto my table runner or quilt top if you're doing one. I measured 5 inches because that's my border, and I also went in 1/4. I want you to line up your 5-inch line to the edge of whatever you're putting this border on, and then go in 1/4. I started sewing on the 1/4 line, so I sewed all the way down. I didn't want to miss that diamond or that point, and then I sewed to the other edge. I'm going to show you another clip of where you could see that I didn't sew all the way down on this edge either. And here you can see that 1/4 spacing. Now you're going to do this on the top and the bottom of your width, and I measured both sides to make sure I had 5 inches. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fold that fabric in, and then I'm going to make a triangle and pin it, because you don't want this fabric to get in the way when you're putting the border on the lengthwise. Okay, I measured my border the same way I did my width. I went in 5 inches and then went in 1/4, but here I decided that I wanted to go ahead and pin where I'm going to sew. So I'm lining up my 5-inch line to the edge of my table runner, and then I put a pin on the 1/4 inch line that I drew, and that's where I'm going to start sewing. I also tend to go forward and backwards in these little areas when I start, and go all the way down again and stop right before I get to the edge 1/4. And here I'm showing you another clip of what that would look like. All right, now we're going to start making that mitered corner. You're going to lay one of your fabrics underneath and then get your other side of your fabric and make a triangle. After you do that, you're going to fold that triangle and try to make a straight line as possible, and then iron it. I also go ahead and I get a ruler and I measure and make sure that it's a 45-degree angle and that it's a straight angle and it's kind of square too. Then you're going to get Elmer's glue again. Yeah, I love this stuff. And you're going to glue the heck out of this triangle area. And then you're going to get your iron and tack it completely down. And yeah, you're going to do that on all 4 sides of whatever quilt top or table runner you're making. Okay, this is what it's going to look like from the top, but this is what it's going to look like from the bottom. Do you see that seam line or that iron line? That's exactly where you're going to sew that mitered corner, all the way down and stop at that 1/4, okay? You want to make sure that you pull your fabric out, so when you're sewing down, you're not sewing on this material, which is my table runner, which would be your quilt top, and you sew all the way to where you get to the 4th mark, okay? Just to the 4th. Remember, when you sewed the width, you gave yourself a 4th, and then when you went back and sewed the length, you gave yourself a 4th, and then when you sewed the mitered corner, you want all those seams to perfectly connect. And if you sewed a 4th perfectly, this is what it should look like underneath your quilt top or table runner. This is what it should look like on the length side, how it's connected to that mitered corner. And this is also what it should look like on the width side of your mitered corner. And then I went ahead and cut my fabric, that extra flappy fabric, and I did that on all 4 sides of my quilt, or table runner, that is. Now this takes a little bit of practice, but it's not that complicated. I really love the Elmer's glue. It really helps control the fabric. The glue kind of sets it in and locks it in, so when you're moving your fabric to the sewing machine, the fabric isn't shifting out of place. Make sure you follow the line too. I ended up doing it to where I didn't follow the line, and so the mitered corner looked a little bit wonky. So wherever your fold is, make sure it's nice and straight. Use a ruler. It really does help a lot. Get right to the edge of the 1/4. Don't go all the way down, 1/4, and then it locks all those seams in. All right. I really do thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. All right. Bye.